So the WWE had the Royal Rumble, the annual Royal Rumble match, and the show was actually pretty good. I was quite surprised with how well executed the show was. You had a couple of matches that they could have kept. The Divas match was a little meh. I was surprised that it was competitive, but at the same time, I thought it wasn't as special as it could be. One of the things that I hope that they do with the Divas division at some point is actually develop some superstars. And that's the message that I have, not just for the Divas division, but for the WWE in itself. Now, the other matches, you got to see an up-and-coming tag team, the Ascension beat I'm not going to call them has-beens because they're not. Admirable performers, Billy Gunn and Road Dogg, who are somewhat past their proverbial prime. I would have much enjoyed a more competitive tag team match with Ascension versus some up-and-comers. You know, if you're going to put a tag team over, have them go up against a tag team that actually can do some of the things in the ring, that can actually wrestle for a long period of time, and can put on a show. That's no offense, no diss to Billy Gunn, no diss to Road Dogg. They're admirable performers inside the ring. They're great on the microphone, but I didn't necessarily need to see a passing of the torch when it came to Ascension. The other matches, like I said, though, aforementioned Divas match, it was okay. Could have been a little better. It was too much Natalya. I mean, Natalya's pretty good, but it was too much of her. I like to see Paige fight. And I think Paige being in the ring, going up against the Bella Twins, would have made the Bella Twins fight. That's what I wanted to see. That's what many of us paid our money to see. Sure, we want to be entertained, but at the same time, we want to see people fight. The other match was a pretty good match between the Usos versus The Miz and Damien Mizdow. The Miz and Mizdow, it's a gimmick that's starting to run stale to me. I like The Miz as an in-ring performer. He's great on the microphone. He's very entertaining. I'm not really feeling this tag team shtick from him anymore. I was quite impressed with the Usos, who are slowly but surely rising to the top as far as some of my all-time favorite tag teams are concerned. The Usos had a wonderful showing, and The Miz, for as long as he stayed in the ring, he did okay. I would have loved to see a little more Mizdow, though. When you have a crowd that was pumped and excited, you want to see some of the wrestler or entertainer that they're excited for. I think the WWE kind of dropped the ball there. Where they didn't drop the ball at was the triple threat match. Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Seth Rollins, they put on a hell of a show. I was quite pleased. I was quite surprised with how well they worked together. I agree with the strategy of let's try to beat up Brock Lesnar as much as we can. Let's try to get him eliminated as fast as we can. And let's work on each other. That was a brilliant strategy, and it almost worked. Brock Lesnar, though, they're giving him this indestructible type of persona to him. Nice back and forth between all the performers in the ring. Brock Lesnar took the ass beating that I didn't expect him to take. I expected him to dish out some ass beating, but I didn't expect him to take the beat down that he took. I was quite surprised by that. It kind of made me think, or had me thinking, that Brock might actually lose this match. Nevertheless, Brock Lesnar was victorious. I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised with how he did it. It sets up the WrestleMania match that much more. I want to know how they're going to go about doing it between him and the Royal Rumble winner, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, in my opinion, should have won the Rumble last year. But just how WWE decides to do things, they tend to go with the tried and true. That being Dave Bautista, who I love as a wrestler, don't get me wrong. But putting a wrestler like Dave Bautista over someone who's up and coming and who is way over as far as the fans are concerned, it's almost brand. It's how you destruct the brand, for lack of a better word. They almost ruined every bit of momentum that they built for Roman Reigns last year during the Royal Rumble by having Batista win it. I'm not a big believer in having part-time wrestlers go on to win things like the Royal Rumble, let alone holding the title for long periods of time. That being said, Brock Lesnar retaining the title and Roman Reigns meeting him in the Royal Rumble after outlasting, I'm not going to go out and say 30 superstars because he didn't face 30 superstars. Let's say about 10. After outlasting 10 superstars, I thought it was pretty okay. Now, here goes my criticisms. I loved seeing Bubba Ray Dudley. If Bubba Ray Dudley stays, more the better. The Boogeyman was quite a surprise. Diamond Dallas Page was quite a surprise. But my disappointment comes from superstars that don't necessarily get much of a chance to prove what they can do. Case in point, Titus O'Neil. He's been with the WWE for about 3-4 years now. It's time to see what he has. What can he deliver to the table? He's pretty good on the microphone. He's a pretty solid in-ring performer. I think he is deserving better than to last but less than 20 seconds in the ring during a Royal Rumble match. To me, that was disappointing. Another disappointing observation that I have is Rusev over or is he not? I like Rusev. Many people like Rusev. I think Rusev is a pretty solid wrestler. Having Brock Lesnar win or retain the WWE title kind of eliminated the possibilities of Rusev winning the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble is somewhat predictable. That's part of my critiques of the Royal Rumble. I think Rusev versus Brock Lesnar would have been brilliant. I don't care about heel versus heel, face versus face. What I care about as a wrestling fan is who is going to get my ass in my seat and not have me move for the next 20 to 25 minutes in the WWE Championship match. That's all I care about. Rusev would have been excellent, but he wasn't the obvious choice. Reason why I bring up Rusev was because Rusev and Roman Reigns had their battle during last year's Royal Rumble. And to kind of rekindle that just a little bit, I want to know what the WWE is going to do with Rusev. Is provided that Roman Reigns does go on and win the title at WrestleMania, does Rusev end up his number one opponent after Brock Lesnar fades off into the wilderness? I'm curious about that. I get the strange feeling that the WWE is going to do what they normally do, and that's build up a rocket ship when it comes to a wrestler and just drop them down as if nothing ever happened. My final criticism, or final two criticisms for WWE's Royal Rumble. One, I think they should have the title match last. That's one. I think with the title match coming before the Royal Rumble, fans kind of get an idea on who's going to win the Rumble. I mean, Dave Bautista was a little bit of a surprise last year, but this year, once you saw Brock Lesnar retain the title, everybody and their mother knew that it was Roman Reigns or bust. That way, it kind of ruined the match for myself. I'm sure it's the same for others. So if you flip-flop the matches, you have a Royal Rumble coming up before the actual title match, it would be better. My last observation, and then I'm done. Although it's great to see some of the nostalgic wrestlers, there's plenty of talent on the roster, on the WWE roster. I could have seen some of the NXT wrestlers, some of the NXT superstars, put them in a position to have star turns. That's how you go about creating the next generation of WWE superstars. You put them in a position of a spotlight and you see how they perform. And if they perform, then you elevate them. If they don't perform well, then you don't elevate them. But that's all I have for tonight. I'm Ernest Shepard from the Outside Analysis. This is the Outside Analysis YouTube moment. I'll be back next time.